Hello friends, today we are going to see one of the very important methods of creating podcasts. So first we will have to understand what is podcast and what is its concepts, right? So for creating podcast you have to understand what are the different constituents or components of a podcast. So let me show you by drawing a particular time slide so that you can understand it in a better way, right? So here it comes. We do have podcast where we have a podcast is nothing but it is a timeline. Say for example, say suppose this particular section is your episode. This is what is called podcast episode, right? You have to create this podcast episode. In this podcast episode, the podcast episode will first begin with a introductory sound. It will have a introductory sound. So this segment is nothing but a introductory sound. It can be a common sound which can be embedded into all your podcasts, right? A introductory sound with a introductory words with some introduction word, right? And then after that you can have a interlude music. You can have a interlude music into it. So this section is nothing but interlude music. You can put a interlude music to just get attention of your listeners, right? So interlude music can be added, and then after that you can create a speaker segment. So here you will speak, here you will speak, here you will speak, here you will speak, right? In this segment, this is the speaker segment. I can say that this is our speaker segment where the speaker will introduce him or her or his or her audience. He will tell something about the podcast to his audience, and then the content segment will come, right? The content segment may come. So there will be a content segment where the main content of the podcast will be there. So this is content segment where the main content of the podcast will be there. And in this content segment can be made up of not a single speaker. It can be distributed into multiple speakers. So say for example, if you are interviewing somebody in your podcast, so multiple speakers, speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3, like that multiple speaker can be there in the content segment, right? And they will speak on to a single audio, right? And after that you will be having a finishing. Again you can have a interlude music. A interlude music can be there. You can put as many as interlude music in between the content too. Say for example, if you want to place a interlude music here, you can also put a interlude music here. No worries about that. That is depending upon your mood and situation. So you can put a interlude music here too, right? And after that, at last your podcast will have a section called the ending note. The ending note or the ending music, right? Ending music can be there. It can be a loud music. It can be a segment where you will tell your audience what to do after hearing the podcast. So you can tell that, but it should have a good music so as to mark the end of your podcast. So this is all about the concept of or the timeline frame of the podcast. Now let us begin and see what we can do with the podcast and how we can create podcast using very important a good app, and that is what is Anchor app. So we will see now how to use Anchor app. Hello, today we are going to learn about how to use Anchor app to create wonderful podcasts in which we can put our music, we can record our music. In a way, we can record interviews of several participants at a time working together live. So let us see how to do that all using a single app to create wonderful podcasts. So first you have to install Anchor app in your mobile, and then after installing Anchor app you can just move on to that software. So just you see here, we do have Anchor app over here. So just start that Anchor app. As soon as you are starting your Anchor app, you will be shown your current episode. So this is my current episode which I can publish, but you can also create new episodes of your own. So first let us create one more new episode. So you have to go to this menu, your podcasts, and then after going to your podcast, you have to go to your episode section, and here you can see that one plus button is there. So just click on that plus, and you are now ready for creating new episodes. Now you have a one wonderful button, that is plus button, which is for tools. So you just click on this plus tools, and here you go, you can record your first podcast. Now as you can see that not only you can record, but you have an option given to you to invite your friends to join and record with you. That means along with you, you can invite your students in an interview mode or in a discussion mode. They can record from their side, and both of these recordings will be recorded, and both the segments, many segments, different segments can be embedded in a single podcast. So let us find out how to do that. So first you have to click on the record button to record your segment. You can also embed different types of music. So let us first see what are the different menus within this particular app. The first one is being shown to you, that is record. So don't go to that record first. Let us see the menu first. So just swipe right, you will get libraries, right? And here you will see all the work that you have done till now, all the recordings of your different episodes till now, whatever you have done, it is being stored there. Then on the right side there is interludes. Interludes are small pieces of sounds which you can put between different segments of your podcast. Now a podcast can have different segments. It can have a starting segment which will have an introductory music. Then it can have a speaker segment in which the speaker will introduce about the podcast, and then it will have the content will have interview, it may have different other segments, it may have multiple speakers, etc. And then after that it may have ending music or ending note. So all those different segments are being intermittently divided using a interlude music. So you have an interlude music option here, so you can interlude that thing. I can just play one of the music, you can listen to it. So here it goes. This is a sound which is having this part. The music is there, so you can just hear the music you want to embed into your file, right? Like that you can have different music, different interlude music between different segments of your single podcast, right? So this is just to enhance your podcast experience, right? So you can put this music. So all right, now you have another menu. Just right swipe and you can find out sounds. There are various sounds that you can use to grab attention of your listeners, right? So you can see here there's one sound, attention, which will be just putting a small bit of sound for seeking attention of your speaker. You can have a blink sound, you can have a mystery sound. So there are many more library that is offered to you. You can just put on those sounds, right? And then you have song section. You can just have a 10-second songs downloaded from Spotify or something like that. So these are the all in all menus which you are having in your Anchor app. The first one is very important, that is the record one. So I will now record the first segment of my podcast. I will record 2 or 3 segments, and I will put some interlude music between it, and I will put a starting music, and then we will create the podcast. We will assemble it, and then finally we can publish our podcast. After publishing, you have to go to the web version of this Anchor in your desktop or laptop, and then from there you can download your created podcast which you have published, and those files can be then sent to anybody. So let us do it. So first I am going to record button. I am creating on record, and now I am going to record my first segment of the podcast. Hello listeners, this is the first segment of my podcast, and you are listening to a wonderful segment that is beginning of a wonderful morning. uh, as I can see from my window, the greenery is before me. So this is the first segment. Let us close it out. To stop this first segment, just press on the stop button. The first segment is created. It is asking you to save this first segment in your episode list. So just click on the save button and it will be saved to your episode. Right now you can add recording to the episode. Again, you can add more segments to your recording. Suppose you have spoken few lines and after that you want to take a break and then again record, so you will just stop your recording and then again after some time you can add recording. Here I am going to, so it is asking you, do you want to publish this episode? Don't publish it still till you are just previewing it for the final release, right? So just click on not yet. Okay, so this is the first segment of the episode which is created. This is a wonderful thing. Now let us create more segments on this particular episode. So that was the first segment of my episode. Now I'm going to create another episode, another not a episode, another segment of this particular episode. So just click on it. Again you can record, you can invite, just I'm clicking on invite friends to join, and in this way you can just ask some of your student to join your podcast at their end and they will record and all those recordings will be done. So just click on invite friends and then you can just ask them to install Anchor. Your friends will be also installing Anchor, and in that way those Anchor friends can join your podcast, right? Or you can message them, you can Facebook them, you can copy link, etc, etc, right? So Anchor friends can be searched and they can be invited, right? Okay, so this is how it will go on. Now if you singly want to record another segment, you just can do what, you can just record it by clicking on record again. So here comes the second segment of my episode, and as you have seen the first listen the first segment, now this segment talks about more wonderful things we can do in creating podcasts. So let us begin our second segment, and in this second segment we will talk about different aspects of podcasts. So this is how the second segment is being created, and now I am just saving it. Don't forget to click on save. So this will save. Add recording to episode. Yes, click on add recording to episode, and the episode will be and that particular segment will be added to your episode, right? So here comes the next segment of your podcast. So first segment was there, again the second segment. So these two segments can be previewed, can be published simultaneously into one single file, right? You can have multiple segments and all those segments can be combined to create one single podcast. So now let us put interlude music between them. So how to do that? That's very simple. Just click on plus tool and just right swipe and put an interlude music. Say for example I want to put this one Balti or little powder, right? So I'm just going to click on plus. Just click on plus and add interlude music to an episode. Click on that. It has been added, right? It has been added. Now right swipe and come to your section, and then again you can just record and you can go on, right? You can record as many as segments possible. Now if you want something which is recorded in your computer to be added on this, you can do that also. Say for example I have recorded one introductory recording of my podcast. For every podcast I'm going to create. So to add a sound of your library, that means you have recorded some sound and you want to add that particular sound as an introductory sound. So you can also do that by going to the library. Just go to the library, and there you can see one option is there, import. That means it allows you to get your sound from other sources. Say for example, you have saved your sound in cloud, so you can add that sound to your particular episode. Okay, so I'm going to just going to import, and I'm going to import one particular sound that I have created for every podcast I create. So for example, podcast with Mixdown, the first one, it is being added, imported to my library now, right? Now since I have imported this one, I want to add this particular introductory music mixing to my current episode. How to add it? Let it be downloaded, let it be imported first, and then we can just add it. Now you can see this is the second one, the podcast intro music mixing. This is the first introduction mixing that I want to add to my current episodes. There is a plus button beneath it, right? You just click on that plus button, add recording to the episode, add it to the episode. That's it. Now let us come to the episode. Let us see our episode. So just close down your tools, and you can see your episodes. So we have two recorded segments. We have one interlude music, we have one introductory music. Now arrange these segments so that your podcast looks good, right? It sounds good. So let us arrange it. First I will be having introductory music. So just press and swipe above. You can just drag and drop it to the place you want, right? Rearrange, it is asking rearrange segment, save your segment. Okay, now next is you want a first segment to be played. So the first segment is there, then after first segment you want a interlude music. So just add a interlude music just after first segment. So again, rearrange, save. Now whenever we are making podcasts, often we want background music to be played just behind our recordings, right? You can do that directly into the Anchor. This is very easy to do. Just select the particular segment where you want to place the background music. So just click on it, and you can add a background music to it. So just click on those three dots on the segment. Each segment has these three dots. Just click on these three dots, and here you find add background music. Click on that background music, and you have a list of background musics according to the moods. So please do research while adding background music. Don't add any background music which does not go with the current tone of your recording. So if it is a sad recording, go for the sad music. If it is having a joyful recording, it is on the joyful matter, go for a joyful music. So you have to research a bit to the music you want to choose, right? So just choose one of them and add it. Say for example, I'm going for a random choice. Say for example, the first one, stuffed monster, and there you can see a plus icon is there. Just click on that plus icon, and it will be applying to your background to that particular first segment of your podcast, right? The first is the introductory music, then the second is the first segment of your podcast where I am putting a background music into it. So now that segment has a background music. So let us preview our podcast, podcast episode. How to preview it? Just see here, a preview episode button is there. So just click on the preview episode button. This is KVS Kolkata Region Podcast, and you are listening to the topics of Science Class 8 and 9 from various teachers of this region. So here comes the second segment of my episode. You can see, this is how it and as you have seen the whole content, the whole segment, will now at a stretch will be played, talks about and it will be shown more wonderful things. So that's it. That's it. How it is being done. So let us go to that. Begin our second segment. And in this second segment, we will talk about time, right? You can just stop the publish. Now, after doing all these things, after doing all these recordings, what you have to do? You have to publish it. After you are satisfied Acha, you can edit, you can, if you're not satisfied, you can edit your podcasts too. How to do that? Particular editing segment, just click on three dots, and you here you can see that edit background music, rename segment, delete from episode, trim start and ending point, that can be done, edit audio. So you can just edit audio, and you can just see that it will show you up the particular timeline where you can put something and you can edit. Say for example, you want to just split these two halves into two parts, so you can just split it. Just put your splitter over here and just click on split, and it will be splitted, and save it. Click on save, and it will be saved. So two segments will be created from your one segment. There will be two segments which will be created into your podcast. Now you can put a interlude music between these two segments, right? So here, that is how it is being edited. So your whole recording can be edited into, split up into different segments too. Okay, so this is how we go on. Now at last, after doing all these things, we can just click on publish. Click on publish, and you can just give the title to your podcast. Say for example, demo episode. So episode description you can write. In the description, you please do write on what topic you are making. I hope the columns are given to you. Those, according to those columns, you put all the descriptions in this particular thing, right? So describe it, and when you are done, just click on done, and then you can just click on publish now. You can click on publish now, and it will be published. Now you see your podcast will be published as demo podcast. Play so far is 1. Now after publishing, let us see how it sounds like. So just go and play. You can just go and play this particular episode, right? Just click on that. This is KVS Kolkata Region Podcast, and you are listening to the topics of Science Class 8 and 9 from various teachers of this region. Okay, so I hope this is understood. Now, what if you want to send this file, this created file, audio file, to someone through mail? So you have to, this app does not have that facility. You have to go to Anchor website on your desktop. That means you have to open the Anchor desktop version, and from there you can just
as I can
download
see
your
from
file,
my window,
right? So the file
greenery is
created by
before
you
me.
can be downloaded.
So this is the
going
first
to the
segment.
going
Let
to
us
the
close it
Anchor
out. To stop this first
desktop
segment,
version.
just press
From
on
there you will log in into your account, and you can find your episode. There you will find three dots, and you can click on that settings, and you will get a download option. That I will also show you how to download it. So thank you.
Here comes the second segment.
So now we are going to see how we can download the podcast we created using Anchor app. We have created podcasts using Anchor app in our mobile. Now we want to download the podcast file, the sound file that we created. So let us find out. Let us find out how to do that. So just first you have to go to Anchor dot in your desktop. Don't try it in your mobile. If you are going to try it on your mobile, do it on the desktop version of this Anchor platform. So just click on anchor.fm. The website name is anchor.fm. Click on it, and you can just go to the dashboard. You will be laid onto the dashboard where you have to log in into your account. You have to log in into your account. So since I have been logged in into my account, I am directly landing to my account page, right? Otherwise, you have to just log in into your account, Anchor account that you have created, right? Now what you can see here, you can see all the episodes that you have created. You can create episodes using your desktop too, not only through the Anchor app, but here also you can create your episodes. But now our task is to download the episode that we created using mobile, right? So let us go to the episodes tab, go to the episodes tab, and here you can see those episodes that we created. So we just right now we have created one episode called demo episode, right? This has to be downloaded. So just click on this this plus three dots, and here you can find download episode, right? There is an option called download. Just click on that, and here it goes. This is KVS Kolkata Region Podcast, and you're listening to the topics of Science Class 8 and 9 from various teachers of this region. And I'm creating on record, and now I'm going to record my first segment of the podcast. Hello, listeners, this is the first segment of my podcast, and you're listening. Now, as you can listen to your podcast, there is a three dots, right? Click on these three dots and click on downloads, and it will be downloading. Now you can see your podcast is being downloaded. The whole podcast is downloaded as a single MP4 file, and this file can be sent to anybody you want to send through mails, right? So that's so easy. So this is all about our podcast creation using Anchor app. I hope this was a wonderful, and you will try of your own. If you have any problem, you please can write into the comment section of my YouTube channel. Thank you for visiting this, hearing this, make podcast, and create wonderful things. Thank you.